Good afternoon, everyone. This is BX Sports Jedi saying welcome to the Return of the Knicks podcast. Now I am Bronx Sports Jedi Kev. I hope you guys are having season greetings to everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. And to this, we're going to talk about today the New York Knicks. The New York Knicks with their victory last night over the Detroit Pistons. A phenomenal victory for the Knickerbockers. You saw the good, a little bad. Just quite a little bit of an ugly. They won 105-91. They beat a team they should beat, much more talented on the court. Let's start with all around my personal call. Those that don't know me, I do have also part of the Twitch program. I also have the YouTube channel and podcast anywhere you have your podcasts, and Apple, Google, Spotify, iHeart, Spreaker. Anywhere you find your podcast, this is where we're available. So hit and find us is BX Sports Jedi Network and all the different platforms, all the different programs. Return to the Knicks podcast. You have the Bomber Strike Back podcast. You also have the notorious G Money Hoops. That's all you NBA lovers. He talks about the whole league, NBA, not just Knicks centric, but the whole league in general. We also have the Bomber Strike Back podcast is about the New York Yankees and MLB baseball. One of our features podcasts is MMA Weekly with Austin and Chef Dan. They break down and recap and preview all the fights in combat sports, not just UFC, Bellator, and all the boxing content. Anything that has to do with violence, combat sports, organized violence, they cover it from A to Z. And speaking of A to Z, I want to salute also our football brother station on the YouTube platform, A to Z Media. Check them out, YouTube channel, A to Z Media, Big Ten coverage, Michigan fans. If you're a Michigan fan, check them out. Big Ten and A to Z Media Network. My main man, Zach, and also Cowboys. If you're a Cowboy fan, he also covers the Cowboys, his podcast, and just check him out. Give him a like. And tell them Jedi send you. Absolutely. Tell them BX Jedi send you. And also, we also have all types. The Ranger Town Republic podcast is only on podcast form. We talk about the New York Rangers and all New York City hockey teams. So as you can see, I am a native New Yorker from my name, BX Sports Jedi, and I love the New York teams, cover them mostly, but I do speak around the league and also part of the combat sports. We also talk A&E wrestling, WWE wrestling, and all types of wrestling and combat sports. So we encourage you to listen to us. Give us a shot. Give us a try. It doesn't hurt. It's totally free. Anywhere you get your podcast, or follow us here on Twitch or in our YouTube channel, BX Sports Jedi Network. And just go ahead, welcome, subscribe, like, hit the notification bell, and be part of the Jedi Sports family. So with that said, with the introductions, I want to thank everyone, and I appreciate everyone who subscribed and growing the channels. We're on a mission to 3,000 subscribers, and we appreciate that. And we just started it. We just started in August, so we're climbing, and we're putting out there good content as best as possible as we can. And it's not just myself. I work as a team, as a network, about four group of us. I have the pleasure to have my son aboard who does the MMA. Chef Dan, a wonderful young brilliant mind. Z from A to Z Media comes on with us, and Gideon, aka the notorious G Money, part of the network. So thank you guys, and I appreciate you, and let's keep growing. I want to thank the Philippines as well for support of our program. Taiwan, Australia, Jamaica, Trinidad, Tobago, Scotland. We get so many viewers worldwide through this platform of YouTube, and now hopefully Twitch. Now we get to bring good content, and just from a fans to a fan. I'm a fan of all these teams. I'm a fan of the sports. I don't claim to be a highly professional or professional. I'm just doing it for the fun and the love I have for the sports of that I follow and cover. Try to cover and enjoy it. I'm watching it anyway, so I'll just come. Have a few words to talk with you guys and just give you my 2 cents, my opinion, and hopefully you guys agree or disagree, and we can have a conversation on what your thoughts, what you see, what's your point of view, because maybe your point of view helps me see the game or the team or the direction of any one of our teams in a different point of view and keep an open mind. I always keep an open mind to see what other fans are seeing objective, and that's what makes the world go round, because we listen to each other's and we could agree to disagree, and what we could see from a different point of view and say, I never thought about that. So that's one of my purpose there. Just giving you a small introduction of who we are, the BX Sport Jedi Network. I'm gonna start transmitting a lot of our podcasts all over, and as well as Twitch. So we appreciate you guys, and just hit that thumbs up. Let us know. Give us our feedback. You can follow us. You can send an email as well to bxjedi76@gmail.com. Let us your feedback. How could we improve the program? What would you like to see something different? Constructive criticism. We don't mind that. We're always trying to strive to be excellent and be an excellent and always have excellence in everything we do in all walk of life. So we thank you guys. So let's get right to the rice and beans with the New York Knicks. The Knicks, with that 105-91 victory last night, they improved to 14-17. They're 6-10 at home. They snap a 5-game home losing streak. They haven't won a game since November against the Los Angeles Lakers. So it's good to see that in the books there, one step at a time. Like I mentioned, that I do the watch alongs on the YouTube channel, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. We do the live watch along and play by play. So I encourage you, if you want to watch the game and you don't want to hear the broadcast on TNT or so forth, or you just want to, like, if you're, we try to make it like a virtual hangout, watch along with friends, and I do the watch along live play by play with the scoreboard, and I try to illustrated and let everyone know exactly how the plays go. And we get, we have a wonderful group of folks in the chat as well as listens to us live, over 1,000 plus to almost 2,000 plus people a night that comes on and watch along with us. So we appreciate everyone that watches along with us. The chat is always a very participant. I am an audience participation chat, and a lot of the folks participate, ask questions or their opinions of what they see on the floor, and we do the play-by-play. And usually it's always 2 or 3 of us, or just myself. It depends, each night how it goes. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate them joining me and being part of the watch along broadcast. So last night when we were watching that, we noticed the Knicks came out with an intense on defense, and it was good to see them playing with a little intensity on defense. And granted, everyone's going to say, well, it was the Pistons, but you can't take your opponents lightly. They're professionals. The Pistons went into Miami, beat Miami the other night, not so long ago. You can't, in this league, you cannot have your guard down. You have to execute your game plan, play your game fundamentals, and the Knicks played fundamentally well last night. From good part. There's a lot of there could be nitpicking indeed, because especially on the Pistons team, allow them to stick around a little. But let's talk about always the good first. Let's talk about the good. Kemba Walker. It's good to see Kemba Walker, being out of the rotation, especially the Knicks. They needed a point guard. They brought in a point guard, Kemba Walker. At the beginning, the first few games didn't seem like it fit. He was a liability on defense. 6-foot guard. On paper, it could be 5'11", 5'10". Who knows with these numbers? They might get fudged a little bit. But you can't have just a score out there at 6 foot and missing shots and not getting, and reputation wise, not playing well on defense. Last night, we saw a little bit of a change there. We saw Kemba Walker aggressive, going to the basket, cutting in, attacking, also playing very well on defense, getting back, drawing charges. Well, Kemba always drew charges in his career, even when he was in his heyday, always got in front and sacrificed his body to draw charges. He did that in Charlotte and so forth. But to being more active on the defense, contesting shots. See, I think us as Knicks fans, we want to see players at least be there to contest shots, not just olay and step out of the way and make what's called a business decision. We want to see players attempting to play defense. Just be there, disrupt, scream, just stand there, put your hands up, yell, do something. And we saw Kemba put a good effort last night. I'm just contesting stops, being around there, being part, disrupting, and allowing the offensive player to think a little. Oh man, I got to defend the army. I got this guy right on top of me, and it worked. It worked. He played very well on defense, and you saw him, Kemba Walker, and Mitchell Robinson, both players that had a good game. By the way, I'll read their stats in a moment. Both played very extremely well. Mitchell Robinson came alive last night. He looked like he's getting in gear. He looks like he got out of the neutral gear into the first gear type of play. And it's good to see Mitchell Robinson starting to play a little much more better. And you saw him and Kemba taking pride on defense, making some, not just once, they did like 3 or 4 defensive stops, and they were high-fiving and they were encouraging one another and excited for one another. That's something we missed from last year's Knicks team. That pride on defense and the celebration when they made a defensive stop. All season, the first, 20, 26, 27 games, how many games they played right now, close to 30. You didn't see that type of defensive pride and peacocking. And we saw that last night. And to me, it was an encouraging sign to see that going for them. And I was excited for that. It was really good to see them both engage on the defense. Fournier as well. Fournier actually was, you could say, third quarter, he actually kind of put the team a little bit on his back, and he also had a good game coming off the curls, shooting better, also getting into the paint with the floater, getting high percentage shots. See, I'm okay if you're going to shoot, but give me the high percentage shot. There's nothing wrong for you to take the ball, go north to south. And I'm a big implement. If you hear me on the watch alongs, and when I critique the team, when we're doing the watch along, especially Randle, I always say, guys, good. I always read the stats out, and whatever quarter by quarter, and whatever the temperature of the game is, I like to say, guys, there is no rim protection tonight on this other team. Take the ball, go north to south, attack the basket, get the points in the paint. It's nothing wrong with you getting points in the paint. I understand you might give up threes, and I know 3 is bigger than 2, of course, naturally. But if you continue having a high field goal percentage in the paint, you're going to outscore your teammates. You're going to outscore your opponents. So I always like to emphasize go north to south, especially when it's working. If you see a pick and roll play or drive into the basket with the floater or the finger roll, attack. Run that play until they make adjustments. Once they make adjustments, either they're going to overcommit for the double team or overcommit to coming at drawing 2 or maybe 3. Then you're able to kick out the ball around, and this team has enough good shooters wide open. Then the 3-pointer percentage starts elevating, and you could execute more your 3-point shots. That's my opinion. Easier said than done. I'm not on the floor playing the game. I don't have the adrenaline pumping in me, the crowd noise, etc. I understand that. But also, that's why we ask guys to play with a much more smarter IQ. Let the game, and I always say it, let the game come naturally to you, like Julius Randle. I think he forces sometimes the game a little too much. You saw that he had like 4 turnovers that led to opposition runs on Detroit's in almost 4 possessions in a row. They stole the ball. He turned the ball over with the handle and stuff like that. That was around the third quarter, and that's a little bit of a concern, with Randle. But back to Kemba and I know a little all over the place, but Kemba and Mitchell Robinson, phenomenal games. They had good games. That was the good part on that, seeing that. And one of the good part of the team as well, the starting unit, building chemistry. Remember they got out to a 5-1 start in the beginning of the season, and we saw a lot of glimmer of good basketball. We're like, wow, if they're gonna play 5-1 in the first 6 games, wow. In that implement, just think of what it would have translated in a 10 game span. And then if they keep playing that 5-1 and losing and keep going and growing, we thought their record was going to be much greater. And that's why we're a little frustrated as fan base with the Knicks team. And we're like, oh my God, a little shell shocked or this quarter of the season, a little shell shocked on the record wise and the way they played, because we saw a glimpse in the beginning of the season as well as the preseason. And we're like, whoa, and it just didn't mesh there. And also, we also got to keep in mind, we didn't expect both our centers to not be healthy. Mitchell Robinson, the first 5 games or first 6 games, he was pretty well. He was attacking. He was becoming what we saw last night, and he was very, very all over the place. And he kind of felt like in a little bit of I don't know if it was an injury or re-aggravation or wasn't, it just hit him. They wasn't in shape to keep up that pace. Whatever it was, whatever miscues and when setback he had there in that small time frame, affected it, as well as Nolan's Noel, plays, didn't play much early in the part, was missing him. It wasn't playing when he played for a little bit. He had sore knees, so forth. He missed a couple games. Our centers not also defending well. They weren't defending like last year's center. So when you think about what the Knicks try to do, sacrifice a little defense for offense, they bought in Fournier, they bought in Kemba Walker, thinking that they were going to get their defensive centers, both defensive centers being totally aggressive, dominating the way we saw last year. And when the season started, at least for the first, after the sixth game, and with the injuries and conditioning and whatever the case is, the centers weren't there to pick them up on the defensive slack. Now your defense suffered, and it was just an adjustment period as well, because these new players, when you're bringing in a two-fifth of your starting unit new, they also got to learn, acclimate how to rotate, communicate on defense, and know what kind of defensive scheme, whose assignments are. And that's why we saw them struggle just a little bit in the beginning. And hopefully it's a turn of the corner. Now, we still need to see a greater sample size if they turn the corner. But my opinion is, when you see them struggling there on defense, two-fifths of the starters, plus the guys that you thought were all-world defensively in Robinson and Noel, banged up, injuries, or whatever the case is, weren't stepping up to par. And Randle, yes, let's face it, Randle has taken a step back on defense as well as offense. His game is all off right now. It's like he's like a multiverse of madness, trying to find out where he's at. Which Randle we're getting. I mean, last year's Randle, 2 years ago Randle. Is like, we're trying to find the Randle of last year here. And right now he's trying to find himself. That was a Spider-Man reference, by the way. And he's trying to find himself in this multiverse here and trying to be played. And also RJ Barrett, he started off really well defensively. He said he wanted to take that next step. We still think he's a fascinated defender on the wing, but also, he had the stomach issue. He had that stomach virus, couldn't keep full down, just fatigue. He was on the shooting slump, affected his offensive game defensively, then the COVID issue. So Knicks, and it's not an excuse. It's not excuses whatsoever. They had their issues. They're battling through some personal issues with illnesses and, whatever the case is, and going through the COVID. And of course, as fan base, we want to point at one direction or two directions, Kemba Walker. So Kemba Walker took the brunt here, was removed by Thibodeau, because you can't have a point guard not scoring, and they just sat him down. He has handled it graciously, although lately he made some comments. He wants to play in the league still, and whatever the case is, knowing that he's not talking to Thibodeau. And so, of course, that's just hoopla. I think that's just adding to the drama, to this behind the tabloids and scenes like that, like Guy Berman and all those kind of beat writers, and just adding to that fuel to the fire. I personally think, my opinion, if he's going to start working out, and then we saw the emergence of the young kids come in before the COVID. Our draft picks, not only our draft pick, our second-year player, Manuel Quickly, playing so well. Obi Toppin taking that second leap bound and wanting us to see him more on the floor. The COVID issue kicked in. But we've seen that the New York Knicks drafting system, Brock Aller, the development of Kenny Payne, Andy Greer, and so forth, Hachimura, and I'm forgetting Kenny Payne, Greer. I'm missing another coach, so forgive me for forgetting his name. Brock Aller in the cap and scouting department, Worldwide West, Leon Rose, Scott Perry, smart front office move. Now we're lynching him for the free agent signing, but it's still to be determined. It's only 30 games, under 30 games, and we're already making judgments. So we got to hold off a little bit on that. Although I don't like what I see currently right now, but we'll wait to reserve our opinion. My point is, they bring in the young guys, they're scouting, they're developing, they're bringing in players that not just NBA players, but it fits the New York Knicks, what they're trying to build and what they're trying to establish going forward, big picture wise. And we love it. We like to see that. We even have Kevin Knox came in 2 games in a row, averaging 17 plus points a game. A guy who was buried deep in the Knickerbocker bench. Thibodeau calls him. He goes in there and just plays phenomenal. I know the COVID situation to put such a wrench on this. You also had Quentin Grimes played excellent, 27 points, rookie record in threes, and against the defending world champions. The point is that there is excitement in the youth that the New York Knicks have brought in here. Miles McBride, we were craving for a point guard, and we drafted, and we don't know he's the point guard yet, guys. I want to pump the brakes. I don't want to get too excited and say, we got the guy. Right now, everything's trending positive with a McBride. He plays defense. He's a pest. He knows how to ball handle, assist wise. He could shoot. He has that I guess they call him a combo guard, but he's a threat to shoot as well if you leave him open. He's not the traditional point guard. Let him shoot. We'll worry if he gets hot. No, you have to stay on McBride because not only does he shoot, he also goes to the basket with ferocious, with no fear, and he goes and attacks the paint. I love what we're building. Of course, RJ Barrett. He break the Charlie Ward course and actually sign a second contract with the Knicks. The Knicks haven't had a young rookie sign a second contract since Charlie Ward. We want to break that curse. We want to, bring it in. It's not a curse, but we're just calling it that. We want to see that. So I like the future, what the Knicks are doing big picture wise. Now, the current roster, like last night's game, you saw a lot of good there. There were, maybe this is something, I always say good things happen. Things happen for a good reason. And maybe this COVID, I know they're not in, but it's happening for good reason because now you're having chemistry. You're forcing the starting unit to have to play with each other and figure this out because there is no bringing in this guy to replace this guy because they can't. They're COVID issues. And I'm starting to see the starting unit meshing and playing. Maybe it's a good sign. Maybe it's a good sign going forward. Maybe there is an opportunity for the same starting five that we started this season to actually get this together and get it right because we all know what we're going to get from the bench. The youth and the bench is going to be phenomenal play. Captained by Derrick Rose. He was out last night with a sore ankle. Hopefully he gets better. But with Rose quickly topping, maybe you could slide a Burks back to the bench because Burks played phenomenal. Unappreciative player last night on the floor, doing all types of things, out of position, asking what the Knicks need from him. Total constant pro. And playing, unappreciative player for the Knicks, if you ask me. But maybe you want to bring him and straighten it out better, and play the bench even more stronger if Kemba Walker seems to figure it out and brings forward, or if the Knicks want to pull the trigger and make a trade. Now, not only that, their value of the players are phenomenal. Maybe Kemba Walker's a team says Kemba got a lot left in him. Mitchell Robinson is starting to pick up his pace. Maybe we all heard the Miles Turner name out there, and so forth. But Kevin Knox could be on the move because he, a kid who has a lot of promise there. Maybe he's something unlocked in him. Who knows? But we'll go back to the Piston game last night for the Knicks and the Pistons. The 91-105. The Knicks started off good. They scored 24 points in the first quarter. That was their best defensive quarter there. They allowed 17 points only to Detroit Pistons. Then they outscored the Pistons every quarter. They were even in the third quarter, 32 points apiece, but they held them to 22 points in that fourth quarter. They kind of pulled away with that victory. Of course, the Knicks last night they were led by Evan Fournier. They had three guys in 20-point scoring last night, but Evan Fournier, 9 out of 24 from the field in 41 minutes of action. He had 22 points. He was a plus 18 on the floor. It was good to see him at 2 rebounds, 3 assists. He had a steal, had a block, 1 turnover, and he was 4 of 11 from 3-point land. He was coming off the curl, pretty decent night shooting last night. Then he was followed by another 21 point scorer in Kemba Walker. Kemba Walker, yes, had 21 points in 40 minutes in action. He was 8 out of 21 from the field. He was 3 of 9 from 3-point line. He was 2 for 2 at the free throw line. He had 8 rebounds total, 5 assists, and he had a steal in the game. He was a plus 9 on the floor. pretty good job by Kemba Walker in 40 minutes. He did play 40 minutes, so he's getting a lot of minutes here to show and let not just the Knicks brass, but the NBA in scouts as well. They're keeping an eye out for Kemba Walker. I could tell you, Los Angeles Lakers could use a point guard. Kemba Walker statue. Teams that are ready to play, the one that are ready to win, that needs to boost up their rotation. Kemba Walker might be an intriguing player for them. You also had Julius Randle, locked in 38 minutes last night. He was 8 of 18 from the field, 1 of 6 from 3-point land. Not shooting the 3-point shot very well. 21 points. He was a plus 13 despite that on the floor. He had 11 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal. He turned the ball over 6 times, though. 6 turnovers from Julius Randle last night. We need to work on that. And that was that sequence there when, he turned the ball over. I think it was like 3 to 4 times in a row and led to fast breaks points for Detroit. They went on a 6-0 run in that aspect. That has to be cleaned up personally. And then one guy that to me was the most impactful player on the floor last night. He logged in 25 minutes of action. He had 17 points. He was a plus 24 from the field. He was 8 and 9 from the field. On the board, he had 14 rebounds. He had 1 steal, 3 blocks. He turned only the ball over once. His name is Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson had a phenomenal game last night. A really good stat line. Played well, in my opinion. He just was all over the place, impactful. That's what we want when guys are on the floor, to be impactful, not empty calorie stats, but an impactful stat. And that's exactly what Mitchell Robinson did last night's game. And he, to me, he was the reason, one of the main reasons why the Knicks totally won that game last night, especially when there was a sequence when the Knicks were up by 6. They missed a wide open shot, a swing play. Tice was going to shoot a 3. He missed it. Then Knicks went hurry rushing, shot a 3-point in transition, missed it, and Robinson came out of nowhere and bailed them out on a dunk. That could have cut the game to a 4-point lead. They extended it to 6, and they didn't look back there in the fourth quarter. Very impactful for Mitchell Robinson. Phenomenal game. You also had Alec Burks with 8 points in 41 minutes. He was 2 of 10. He didn't have a good shooting game. He was 2 of 10 from the field, 1 for 4 from 3-point land. But he did go to the free throw line. He was 3 for 4 for the free throws. He had 7 rebounds, 6 assists. See, he was filling up the columns in other areas and very impactful. He also, he was a plus 13 on the field. Phenomenal job by him on the floor. Oh, guys, I got breaking news. Nerlens Noel has entered the health and safety protocol. So it looks like we're not going to have Nerlens Noel. That's a shame. So right now has entered as protocol. So we will not see him for Christmas on the floor. He will not play. So Nerlens Noel, the latest Knick to be entering the protocols, the COVID safety protocols. That's a bummer there. Although he left with a little eye poke, couldn't see, a little something bothering him in his eye. So he just, as of this morning, and it's Wednesday morning, actually Wednesday afternoon at 12:45 in the afternoon when I'm recording this podcast, Nerlens Noel has entered safety protocol for the New York Knicks. Will not play until he passes this. So he's on the protocol list. Another name to the Knicks to add. Now back to the game last night. You also had Taj Gibson. Taj Gibson was a pretty good game last night. He had 19 minutes of action. He was 4 of 6 from the field. He actually hit a 3-pointer. He was 1 of 2 from 3-point land. He had 5 rebounds, 2 assists there, 1 block shot, and he was a plus 4 on the field. That's what you get from a Taj Gibson in short spurts, but he's going to leave everything on the floor, giving all the best, give him 100% effort, and that's what Taj Gibson does night in, night out, no matter what. He always impactful player on the field. And you had a Damian Dotson sighting. He played 4 minutes of action. He was out there, just got a rebound for 4 minutes, and that 4 minutes of action wasn't asked for much. And you also had a Wayne Selden. Wayne Selden played 9 minutes. He actually hit his first 3-pointer. He also went to the free throw line twice. He was 2 of 4 from the free throw line. He was 1 for 2 from the field. He had 5 points. He had a rebound. He had an assist. So in a short spurt, Thibodeau showing us the Knicks. Everyone on the bench played phenomenal job on Wally Selden coming in there for that limited time and scored. And the Knicks, I got the totals for the game. The Knicks held the Pistons 34 out of 94. That's 36.2% from the field. The Knicks shot themselves also 44.4, 40 out of 90 from the field. They held the Pistons to just 24.2% from three-point land at 8 out of 33, while shooting themselves 11 out of 33. That's 33.3%, just a little below the league average there. Free throws, the Knicks were 14 out of 19 for 73.7% from the free throw line, while the Pistons were 78.9%. They were 15 out of 19. The Knicks out-rebound the Pistons 52 to 48. They also led them in the offensive rebound category, 13 to 10. Both teams ended up with 22 assists apiece. And the Knicks had 7 blocks to Detroit 4. They had 9 steals. Detroit 5 for New York. Both teams had 12 turnovers, and the Pistons outscored the Knicks in the paint 48 to 44. So that's the team's numbers. I'll give you the Pistons. Since we talked about the Knicks, we'll talk a little bit about the Pistons here. Their leading scorers for Detroit Pistons was Lee with 25 minutes of action. He was 7 of 15 from the field. He had 16 points. He had 16 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals, 1 block, filling out the column nicely. But he was 1 from 7 from three-point land. He had 16 points, followed by 15 points from Joseph. Joseph had 25 minutes action. He shot 6 of 8 from the field. He was perfect, 3 from 3 for three-point land. He had 2 rebounds, 1 assist, he had 2 turnovers, 15 points. He was a -5 on the floor. Also, Sadiq Bey with 37 minutes of action was 5 of 19 from the field, 3 of 13 from three-point land. He was perfect at the free throw line, 2 for 2. He had 7 rebounds, 3 assists, a block. He turned the ball over twice. He was -9 on the floor. Plus minus, he was really all over the place. The rookie sensation, Kate Cunningham. He had 7 points in 33 minutes of action. He shot 2 of 13 from the field, 0 of 2 from three-point land. He was perfect at the free throw line, 3 for 3. He had 9 rebounds, 8 assists. He had 1 block. He turned the ball over 5 times, though. He's got to work on his handle, the 5-time turnover. But he's a rookie. Game seems to get, he needs to, just once the game slows down a little, he'll limit his turnovers low. Although it was still single digits, just 5 for a rookie running that an offense that's a little challenged. But they got players, though. I like Detroit. Despite their record, they have a lot of good players that move, that hustles, that you see that they're engaged and they're buying into the system, their coaching system. And Wayne Casey wasn't there. He was on health and safety protocol, but they buying into his system and hustling and defense and playing and using their athleticism. Now they just got to put it together with their skill set. You had Diallo. Halidou Diallo played a really good game in 34 minutes. He had 10 points. The numbers don't mean nothing, but he was a pest all over the place. 10 points. He had 5 steals. He was in the passing lanes, getting it all over the place. He had 1 assist, 6 rebounds. He was 5 of 13. See, that the only thing that's the field goal percentage, but all the other intangibles were really good, and he was a pest. Even though shooting 5 for 13 from the field and 0 for 1 from three-point line, he had 10 points, though. But the steals, the rebounding, the assists, and the way he was just being a defender was a pain in the neck for the New York Knicks last night. Now, Tyrese Lyle came in for 17 minutes of action. He was impactful for that short spurt. He was 4 of 9 from the field, 1 of 4 from the three-point line. He was perfect 4 for 4 from the free throw line. He had 5 rebounds. This is in 17 minutes of action. He had an assist, 1 block. He had 13 points. He was actually becoming a little bit of an issue for the Knicks in a short spurt. I don't know if he caught the Knicks in fatigue situation, but all in all, when his name was called upon, he was there for his team and really good minutes there. Hopefully, maybe they might want to see if they ask a little more of him, or I think that's the threshold they could get, and then they could get that from him in short spurts. That's a nice building block off the bench for the Pistons. We shall see. That's the Pistons issue. Yeah, Luka Garza came in, played 4 minutes of action. He was 0 for 1 from the field, 0 for 1 from three-point land. Other than that, that's all. He was a -7 on the field, no points. Fred Jackson had 20 minutes of action with a funny mustache. 1 for 5 from the field, 0 for 1 from three-point land, 1 for 2 from the free throw line. Yeah, no, 1 rebound, 3 assists though. He had 3 points. He had Lee, where he played 25 minutes of action, 7 of 15 from the field, 1 of 7 from 3-point land. He was 1 for 1 from the free throw line. He had 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, 16 points in 25 minutes. A little filling out a little bit of everything. Just the field goal percentage. Just got to get clean that up a little better. And that comes with more playing time, getting involved in the offense, set plays, and so forth. And you had McGruger play 15 minutes in action. He was 1 for 2, 0 for 1 from 3-point land. He was 1 for 2 from the free throw line. He had 4 rebounds, and he had 3 points of action. So that's the Pistons scoring last night. And it's interesting to see how the Knicks move forward. It's interesting to see what Tom Thibodeau thinks on how the Knicks, move forward. We have his audio conference there. So let's listen to the coach to see what he thinks on his team and how they played. So this is courtesy of the MSG Network, and we'll play Coach Thibodeau right now. And here we go.
Cohesion and chemistry building.
Yeah, and a lot of credit to all the guys because there's a lot of moving parts right now, and to find a way to win is the most important thing. I thought Kemba, Julius not feeling his best, but just playing tough, and Kemba making plays. I thought Alec was great for us, playing huge minutes. You can't say enough about what Mitch did. That's his best game right there. It's a monster game, big play after big play. I don't want to overlook what Taj did. Taj is playing 3, 4, sometimes 5. Those were big minutes. I thought Wayne went in there, gave us good minutes. Dot went in. He just got here today, got in there and played well. We had, Nerls got in there. He got hit with a ball at halftime, so it was, it set us back a little bit. But Mitch stepped right in and played huge for us. But big plays down the stretch, Kemba making big shots, all that stuff, and we needed all of it. We took a hit to start the fourth, but you got to be able to take a punch and find a way to win, and that's what we did.
You mentioned Mitch.
Yeah.
In the game, especially in that fourth quarter, really an offensive quarter.
Yeah.
You guys a lot of energy. Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, just on both ends of the floor, as you mentioned, the offensive rebounding is huge. The pressure on the rim, huge. I thought Kemba found him on the lob. In that sort of gets him going too. And so, and then protecting the rim, he and Nerls give us elite rim protection. And that's how right now, that's how we have to play. We just have to find a way to win.
It feels like every time we talk to you about next year, we talk about his conditioning and some capacity. Tonight, though, we did something that's not just around the rim, but on the perimeter.
Yeah.
Like at times where you just have to move. Is he looking better to do that?
Yeah, and he was out for a very long period of time, so I think he's made a conscious effort to get into better shape. He's put in extra work in, and he's finding his rhythm. It's a lot of this is, for a big guy like that, it's timing, rhythm, conditioning. It's all of the above, and you're asking him to be the anchor of the defense, communicate, multiple effort plays, cover up for mistakes, and you can't do that unless you're in great shape. So it's something that we have to continue to work on. But he's gifted in a lot of ways that can make your defense really good. And so I thought Evan, same thing. He's found a good rhythm. His shooting is invaluable to us. And at the end of the game, when you have Alec and Kemba and Evan, you got 3 guys that could go off the dribble. And then, when you put Julius in those plays and the pick and rolls, he commands so much attention, it opens up the floor, and then we just got to trust each other. And that's what I liked. I liked the plays that we made for each other. And when we spray the ball out like that and you get good rhythm shots, you're going to make those.
So that's a good indication there by Coach Thibodeau mentioning out there that guys have to trust one another. They need to touch one another. Thank you for MSG Network for allowing us to use the footage there. So we appreciate that. So we courtesy of Madison Square Garden YouTube channel. So we appreciate that. So the New York Knicks, like we said earlier, they're trusting one another, spread the floor. When I mentioned it, that the centers were the anchor of the defense, the captain, the anchor in the defense. And when they're not themselves or they're not healthy, not in shape, you're starting to see the warts. And you saw the warts early in the season with the defensive lapse in Kemba Walker, Evan Fournier, not known for being a perimeter all NBA defenders, and if your center captain of your defense isn't playing that and is not picking up the slack there, the whole team and as a whole was hurting. And I think that's why we weren't used to the same New York City intensity defensively wise, as Coach Thibodeau pointed out there. And I think that's what's missing. Now, if Mitchell Robinson starts getting healthy back on his feet, and getting back into shape, he kind of called them out there without mentioning names. You got to get into shape, because when you get into shape and he's very well gifted, very well talented, but conditioning was a question there. And if he gets into shape and gets into the NBA, continue to condition himself, work hard, put whatever it takes to get that conditioning, that stamina that the Knicks need, then you're going to start seeing the Knicks playing much greater on defense and help out. And now you could actually play a Kemba Walker on the floor now, because you got help from your captain or from the anchor of the defense, which is your center, neither Noel or Mitchell Robinson. So that's a good statement by Coach Thibodeau. Now, those that are listening, that have listened to the program a little late now or came in here, Nolan Noel has entered the safety and health protocol. He is out with COVID, so he just came through the wire about when we were on the air here before 1 o'clock Eastern time. Nolan Noel is on the safety protocol list, so he's out. Now you see a little more Taj Gibson, maybe Jericho Sims. We shall see. And that's an unfortunate situation. But you're starting to see, I love what Thibodeau said. The team is starting to spread the floor, and that spreading of the floor, and you can't have, and no longer could really double if guys are hitting and penetrating and becoming impactful on the and I think the shooting percentage will increase. And what Thibodeau and the front office envision of spreading the floor, putting up shots, is going to work if and always when you get balanced scoring. You had three guys in 20, over 20 points. You had Mitchell Robinson with 17 points, being impactful, being not just on the defense, on the offense, put back and you saw that chemistry between Kemba and Mitchell when Thibodeau pointed out the lob with the dunk, and all those type of things helps out. And of course, it all starts when you don't turn the ball over much. You have a set up your defense, move quick. When you get on offense, attack quickly. Don't allow them to attack and score immediately. And don't let the defense set themselves back. Once the defense set themselves and get into pace, then they score. And that only good things happen for the New York Knickerbockers if they attack and they move the ball quickly and smart. And also, when you go north to south, you go into the hole, you attack the hole, you're smart with the basketball, you're gonna find the open man, and you have success. So that's the recipe going forward. You've seen them. The next 3 games are games that are on the table that could be a strong possibility of a victory for them. They have a good chance there. They're playing the Wizards, which you have to beat. They're ahead of you in the division. You have to continue to play well and continue to build. Like I always say, us as fans could look ahead at these games ahead of us, and we could try to say, but as a player for the organization and every 15 to 20 man rotation, because it's starting to be almost a 20 man rotation with all the safety and protocols, they have to look at it as one possession, one quarter, one half at a time, and one game at a time. Not look ahead, win those small individual battles, and all right, we're gonna win this possession. We scored. Then we're gonna defend on this possession. We scored. Those victories like that. Then we won the quarter. We win the half. We win the game. Then when you look back, in a 10-game spurt, you look at your record. Wow, we were 7-3. We had a really good week. So those are the type of building blocks they need, not to look, 2 advance ahead, thinking about, oh, well, if we just play this and we'll win this, we'll be in the playoff. No, they need to look at those kind of small goals ahead of themselves, little by little. I think they'll be fine with that. They have some games that on paper, they should win. They'll probably have a little more talented players right now on the floor. Although Washington has been a surprise of this season, but I think if they match up well, they play their game well. It's going to be a test again for the Knickerbockers here against Spencer Dinwiddie, Bradley Beal and company. I haven't seen their injury report yet, who's on COVID, who's not for the Wizards, but it'll be interesting to see how they play with them. Kuzman, the first look at Kuzman as a Wizard, and no, I know Pope, no Calelius Pope will not play there to that game, but it'll be interesting to see there. And then you have the Hawks on Christmas. All these games, by the way, will be on the BX Sports Jedi YouTube channel, watch along. So if you guys are on Twitch and you want to join us on the YouTube channel, or if you're listening to us on any of the podcasts, and you just want to Christmas morning, you want to 12 o'clock, you want to I know you with the family, you just want to pop up just the audio with us and type in, give us a Merry Christmas wish, and everyone in the chat that listens to us all worldwide, all over, not just the United States, but throughout the whole continent with the chat. There's so many people from the chat. You want to wish them a Merry Christmas? Come on into the chat. I encourage you guys, come on into the chat. Wish them Merry Christmas. Say hello to everyone. It's going to go worldwide. Real quick, pop in there, say hello. It's on BX Sports Jedi Network YouTube channel. So it's BX Sports Jedi Network. Go in there. He's going to be the Hawks Knicks watch along, as well as tomorrow, Thursday, when we have the Wizards versus the Knicks watch along and play by play. I try to do as many watch along as possible, except for the West Coast. I mean, it's a little late for me to do the West Coast trips, but we'll try to do all the watch alongs and play by play here. And also tomorrow, we also have the MMA program as well with Chef Dan and Austin. They break down the MMA weekly. They'll have news and notes, reviews of the year, closing out the upcoming card, the following weekend card that just passed. So we encourage you to listen to that as well. And we'll try to put it here on Twitch if they'll we'll continue to bring forward some good content about our podcast. And listen, anyone that listens to us in Spotify, thank you. Apple, on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, all areas that you listen to us in this podcast, we thank you so much. We appreciate you supporting us. Thank you for follow our podcast program. We encourage you. We're going to keep striving to get better and better, and we'll have more guests. We'll have more roundtable discussions, and we'll continue to build something good. We also have the G-Money, the notorious G-Money Hoop Show, as some of you see here on Twitch, as well as the podcast. You've seen it before. Listen to it. He goes around week to week. He gives you fun facts with a lot of numbers, insights, and this is all not even one sheet of piece of paper. That is in the young man Gideon's mind. That kid is special with numbers, facts, factual numbers, and breaks down the league like if he was a CompuBox number. Phenomenal. Give this kid a try. Listen to him on his podcast, the way he articulates and brings that forward. Phenomenal job. And again, everyone from A to Z Media, follow that channel, the YouTube channel that breaks down football, Big Ten, Michigan. Please give them a listen to. It's on the YouTube channel. And those are following him on Twitter. It's A to Z Media Network. Mine's is BX Sports Jedi Network Twitter as well. All the information is in our description. So if you're listening to us on the podcast, look at the description where we have our website. Also, if you want to feedback to the channel, if you want to be a panelist and want to come in and have a roundtable discussion with us about the New York Knicks, if you like Knicks baseball, MMA fighting, we would love to have some more MMA enthusiasts that knows the fight game to come on and join us as guest panels, have a roundtable. Let us know. Contact us on bxjedi76@gmail.com or any one of our social media platforms. BX Sports Jedi. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter page, or Instagram, as well as all BX Sports Jedi, or our webpage is in the description. Just give us a note, let us know, and we'll make it, tell you when our program is on, send you the link, bring you on as a panel, talk some good sports with us. This is if you love sports, we're all year long, or not just boxing us on one particular team or one particular sport we cover. It's a network, and it's not just myself. I'm in the hands with, I have a group of good, talented young men that will bring us the sports knowledge that they know. It's from a fan to a fan. None of us claim to be professionals. We're just fans that watch it from our point of view, and that's what makes it fun and enjoying. So I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast with myself. I hope I encourage you to listen to our other partners in the network, and for yourself, their knowledge, their wisdom, and their enthusiasm for the love that they have and the passion that they have for their covering and what they talk about their sports. It's phenomenal. It's exciting for me, and I know we're gonna do good and great things in 2022, because we started this in the middle in August of July, actually, of 2021, and with your support and your encouragement and your feedback, and has helped us grow where we are, close to 2,500 subscribers in that short time frame, and on our way to 3,000 subscribers and more. And we want to ask you guys to be part of it in our YouTube universe. Thank you for all those in Spotify, for all the followers and all the followers that we continue to grow in on our audio platform. I want to thank you so much, and I appreciate each and every one of you. And man, with that said, I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday season. I appreciate each and every one of you. May the Knicks be with you. May the sports be with you. And for most and foremost, have a happy holiday. This is BX Sports Jedi saying thank you so much. Many blessings. And we'll see you on the next podcast. Like and share, please, wherever platform you're in, and any audio platform. Like and share. And visit us again on our YouTube channel, BX Sports Jedi Network. And we'll see you there, and say you saw us on Twitter or wherever you're calling from, wherever you're writing from. We encourage it. We want to see you in the chat, and we want to shout you out, and we want to thank you personally on there. In every one of them, I do read everyone's comments and chat on the air. It's an audience participation program, not just myself. For any one of the programs on the network, we encourage the audio participation, and we thank you so much. Again, thank you again, and we'll see you next time.